All right. Well, welcome to a surprise Friday stream. This is another test of some setting adjustments for YouTube, for YouTube streaming. On the last stream, it started off okay, but it kind of tanked towards the end with frame rates and dropping frames and everything like that, and getting a lot of warnings about that. So what I've decided to do on this one is, because I've switched over to the GPU processing, which is apparently the way to go for more powerful video cards, which I have, but because Microsoft Flight Simulator is so GPU intensive, what I'm going to try is I've actually downscaled my sim, so I am actually playing it at 1080p. Now that's what we're streaming at, so I'm hoping that the combination of playing it at what we're streaming at, it's not going to have to rescale it as it goes, and that's going to free up a lot of GPU processing. Hopefully that will help with the stream as well. So we're going to do this flight. We're going from Paris's Charles de Gaulle Airport in France over to Manchester, England. We're flying, as you can see in front of us, we have an Air France A320 that we're going to be taking over. So let's jump down and we will get into the aircraft, and then we'll get ready to go. So, in we go. Got the checklist. You can see the air bridge is already attached. So, we'll get the batteries on. We'll get external power connected. And with everything opened up and coming aboard, we can start to get the passengers on board as well. So we'll run through our list. So parking brake is set, chocks removed, ground power unit is connected, throttles are at idle, batteries are on, and the numbers are reading good. Ground power, our external power is on. We'll get the ADIRs up and going. They are running brightness on the displays. There's the E-cams. We'll get the lower display, 2 clicks on the McDo, and we'll get the upper display going as well. And we'll call for bags, catering, and the fuel truck. Thank you. So nav light, beacon light will get going as well. Ventilators are done. Gear lever is confirmed down. Flaps are confirmed up. And spoilers are confirmed retracted. Fuel quantity should be good. It's a short flight. It's only about an hour and 10 minutes. Get the signs on. Crew oxygen. Get some air up and moving. Oop. In the back. There we go. De-ice we're not going to need. I'm running live weather, and it is a beautiful afternoon here. Transponder 7000 and on standby. Beacon lights are on. Emergency lights are armed. 30,000 feet for today. So we'll crank that up to 30,000. Departure brief, we're departing on runway 27, I believe. And turn to the north and we head out. Climbing to 30,000 feet. I do not believe there's any restrictions on the departure. No, we're on the A320 4A departure, and I see no restrictions. Alright, so let's get in and set up the McDo here. Let's get over to where we can see it.
The cabin crew, I'd like to welcome you aboard our flight. As you find your seat, be sure to place your larger carry-on items in the overhead bins and smaller items underneath the seat in front of you.
So the aircraft information is correct.
For any of your carry-on items, please use the flight attendant call button over your seat and somebody will assist you. If the overhead bin is full, please make sure you close it as a courtesy to other passengers. Please double check that all your items are put away so that the aisle is clear and other passengers can make their way to their seats. If you're in an emergency exit row, please read the exit seating responsibilities in the card in the seat back in front of you. If you're not able to comply with these actions, please let a flight attendant know so that way you can be reseated. Now's the time to get out any last-minute text messages if you need to, but we ask that once we depart from the gate, you put away any laptops or tablets. Thank you, and welcome aboard.
So our alternate is EGBB, and we just heard the baggage compartment close up. So the ready cost index is 25, and 300 is our cruise level. And we're flying from LFPG to EGCC. For performance today, it's going to be a flaps 1 takeoff. Transition altitude of 10,000 feet. So we'll put in our V speeds of 127, 131, and 135. Flight plan today, as you can see, we are departing off of runway 27 left on the, this has the Atria 4A departure. Slightly different, but that's fine. This is the difference between sim brief and flight sim. A little bit annoying. And then we're going to be arriving, we've set it up for now, runway 23 right on the day end to a arrival via MTC, so that should be pretty good. And to take a look at our flight plan, we'll go over to plan mode. It's pretty simple. As I said, we are going to take off, make a right turn, and basically head up and then across the channel over southern England. We're going to overfly the airport, do a turnaround, and come back and grab the intercept for the ILS. And that will be that. So we've got 4 minutes to go on the aligning. So I'm going to compare this video with ones that I recorded while I was playing in 4K and streaming at 1080p. Just see what the quality is like. And we'll see how this flight goes. This won't affect videos I recorded. Obviously, I'll switch back and record in 4K so that it's the best resolution.
You're ready to go when you are.
Oh, thank you very much. Best resolution we can get, even though YouTube is downgrading it to 1080p. I'd rather have them have extra to play with than not. Plus, it looks good for when I'm doing it at home. So we got a couple minutes to go, so I'm going to head up top and I'm going to get the APU up and going so we don't have to wait too long for that. And then once I get that started, I will show you the route that we are taking on the map. The flap is open, so we'll start up the APU. Beacon is on. Alright, so you can see here the route we're taking. We're going to take off, head north in France, and make a turn towards the west, across the channel, up over England. We'll pass east of London. Basically straight line up, and then we make the approach, and I'll probably go to vectors at this point and fly us over. So that is the route for today. so if we go back to the top of our flight plan, so we got a little bit of a taxi to go. Take it up to 27 left, but should be all right. You can hear the APU coming up. See it increasing there. As soon as she hits 100%, I'll get the jetway pulled. And we will be good to start our pushback. We're going to go tail left for the push. And then we're going to have to taxi around Terminal 2, cross the open area by, I think it's a cargo area, on taxiway Quebec. And then take Quebec 6 to the end of the runway. And I'll just quickly, while we wait, show you that. You can see where we are over here at the gate. So we're going to taxi down up this way. Oh, fuel truck's here. Yeah, it feels good. Thank you. Yeah, we're going to taxi over here, come up Quebec, and then we'll depart from 27 left. Alright, we are up on the Adirs. So we will get the cabin door closed. Alright, cabin door is closed, jetway is being removed.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome aboard flight A320neo with service to Manchester. Our flight time will be roughly 1 hour and 33 minutes. Now that the cabin door is closed, please make sure that all devices are in airplane mode and your large devices
so everything is
down
off.
and stowed. Please fasten your seatbelt and make
And
sure
ready
that
to
all
go.
tables and seat backs are in the full upright and locked position for departure. Cabin crew, prepare cabin for departure.
Alright, so APU bleed is on, external power has been disconnected, APU generators are on, thrust levers are at idle. We will start the pushback. There he comes. And again, we are going to be pushing our tail to the left as you face the back of the aircraft. There's a bit of a wait. We will disconnect the parking brake for him. It's gonna keep an eye for where we make the turn. So we're pushing back. So we will start engine number 1, engine master switch to ignition, and starting 1.
Ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention to the front of the aircraft for a safety demonstration. When the seatbelt light is on, please make sure that your seatbelt is fastened low and tight across your lap. To fasten, insert the metal fittings into one another. Tighten by pulling on the loose end of the strap. To release your seatbelt, lift the upper portion of the buckle. In the event that the seatbelt light is not on, we suggest that you keep your seatbelt fastened in case of unexpected turbulence. There are several...
So we're getting pushed out. It's not too bad of a push.
To start the flow of oxygen, pull the mask towards you. Place it firmly over your nose and mouth, secure the elastic band behind your head, tighten the straps if necessary, and breathe normally. Although the bag does not inflate, oxygen is flowing to the mask. If you are traveling with a child or someone who requires assistance, secure your mask on first and then assist others. Keep your mask on until a member of the crew advises you it is safe to remove it. In the unlikely event of a water landing, a life vest is located in a pouch under your seat or between the armrests. When instructed to do so, open the plastic pouch and remove the vest. Flip it over your head. Wrap the straps around your waist and buckle at the front. Pull the strap to tighten.
Oh.
To inflate the vest, pull firmly on the red cord only when exiting the aircraft. If your life vest does not inflate automatically, blow into the mouth.
Forgot the fuel bumps.
Manual inflation. Each vest is equipped with a whistle and light. If necessary, your seat cushion can be used as a secondary flotation device. Pull the cushion from the seat.
While we're waiting on the engine, let's get properly seated here.
Make sure your seatbelts are fastened and seat backs and tray tables are in their full upright position. We remind you that this is a non-smoking flight.
So you place the red ball over the white ball, and that's properly adjusted in your seat.
All this information and more can be found in the safety card located in the seat back in front of you.
All right, there's engine number 1.
Know if you have any questions.
Starting 2.
Thank you for flying with us again, and we hope you enjoy your flight.
Okay, engine number 2 is coming up. And I'll put you onto 40 miles. So we have fuel flow. And N2 is rising, N1 is rising. Sounds like she's almost there. Yep, she's there. All right. So both engines are going. APU bleed will come off. APU will shut down. And engine selector switch will go back to normal. Before taxi checklist. So probe and window heats will come on. There we go. Heading indicator and altimeters. Altimeters are set 3056. Standby instruments. 3056. Radios and avionics are good. Autopilot is set 30,000 feet. Flight directors will come on. Auto brake will be set for max. Flaps are flaps 1 for takeoff, 1 up on the trim and flight controls. So full left, full right, neutral, full forward, full back, neutral, left rudder, right rudder, and both brakes. Flight controls are checked. Taxi light will go on, and we are good to taxi. All right. Again, we're waiting on the throttle quadrant to arrive. Hopefully by the end of the year would be nice. All right, let's give it a little bit of throttle.
The cabin is ready for takeoff.
All right, thank you. So we're going to head out here on Tango Echo 2 down to Romeo. I'll take this over to Echo 5. Up to Echo, and then Quebec over to Quebec 6 and the runway. All right, so we can do our taxi checklist. Everything is good. We will set our ground spoilers will come on. back a little bit on the throttle. TO config, everything is checked. And we'll let the cabin crew finish up. We'll ding in when we're heading up E5. So this is Charles de Gaulle Airport. It's rather large. It's a big place. I flew out of here, not Terminal 2 here, which is massive, but the old Terminal 1 I've been out of. But it's a huge airport, 4 runways, a major airport for Paris. Alright, we're going a little bit fast. So here's our turn on Echo 5. Just gotta be careful using the keyboard for the throttle. If I hit the wrong key, we'll go into reverse thrust, and would rather not do that. A little bit more power. So all the liveries you're seeing here, well, that's the virtual airline one, but all the liveries you're seeing here are from the livery mega pack. There's some graphical things they got to fix with the way the liveries display. They tend to flip backwards on some of them, and when you get distant, and I know for the 787 or 7478. In the sim, the default airplane, it doesn't matter what you do, the one side is going to be backwards, so it's something they're aware of. I'm not sure when they're going to fix it, but it's on the major list of things they got to correct for the sim. And ignore the trucks driving up the side of the building over there on the left. This is a little pretty neat thing here. We're driving over this road. This is the kind of access point into the Terminal 2 complex. Should be able to see down here. Maybe, but the car is driving through here. And they go under this building here, and then they go into the main terminal complex on the other side of it from where we started off from. Kind of neat. Let's get back on the line here. Speed up a little bit. So we're going to do a little bit of a left-right, left jog here, and then we'll head along the other way. Over here we'll pick up the northbound taxiway. All right.
Cabin crew seats for takeoff, please.
So again, the weather is good. We are running live weather and live traffic on as well, which is why we're seeing aircraft indicators on the display. Some Austrian aircraft, and I do like it when there's lots of airplanes around. So here's Quebec. We're gonna head up there, and this will take us up to .27 left. Some more bridges and bypasses here. So ideally we would have gotten these taxi directions from ground before we headed out, which is why it's always good to have the diagrams for the airport with all the taxiways laid out. And if you're playing with a virtual airline, which over the next couple weeks I'm going to try to set up IVAO, they'll actually give you these directions for taxis. So you got to have the charts available. And you can see again, we'd be driving over, and the cars would be going in and out, and although, yeah, it's a bit steep, but it would go down and under the taxiway. It's like cargo operations over here. And I've mentioned it before, but it'd be nice if they could do something and not put general aviation airplanes in where the airliners and freighters and stuff would go. And I'm still waiting for the release of Aerosoft CRJ 700 series. So 700, 800, 550, and I think 900. I think that'll be a fun one to fly as well. Short regional jet. Good for short live streams. And being a completely developed ground up aircraft, hopefully everything works in it. VNAV and all the approaches and all the systems and all that stuff. So I know they've been working on it for quite a while. I think they're hoping to have it out by the end of the year. It would be nice. And this is an airport with a long taxiway. You can get lucky and get the short route to the airport near you, or you can end up having to go all the way out here. And these taxiways, there's two of them. You can see the other one there for aircraft that they were going the other way. It's kind of like Heathrow. It's got two circular taxiways that kind of loop the terminals. One's like clockwise and one's counterclockwise. Alright, just rolling around here. And Quebec 6 is coming up. There's Terminal 1. It's round. Old terminal from way back. I don't know where he's going. There's no runways in that direction. Kind of doing a low overfly of the airport. So we're going to turn right. And that will get us over to the runway, which is right there. And I am loving the sounds they've added, the fly-by-wire guys that are doing this, the mods to this thing to make it better. They've really done a good job adding some improved sounds on the last update. And they've just released some preliminary screenshots. They're working on an Airbus A380. They were showing some modeling they were doing the cockpit, pieces of the cockpit, looking pretty cool. And here's some of those terrain issues. Nice bump in the runway. Alright, so we'll come to a halt. And parking brake will go on. So, pre-takeoff checklist. Braking brake is on. Flight instruments have been checked. Engine instruments have been checked. Takeoff data is set 127, 131, 135. Nav equipment is checked. landing lights will go on, taxi light will go to takeoff, and strobe lights will go on. ECAM is no blue, strobe lights on, pitot heat's good, de-ice not required. Transponder will go TARA, PWS will come on, a weather radar will come on. And I don't see anyone on approach. We will start the clock. Parking brake comes off. And we will move forward. Take position on the runway. We are lined up. All right, engines to 40%. Okay, brakes released. Throttle to takeoff power. Takeoff power is set. 80 knots. V1, rotate. Okay. 7 degrees, positive rate, gear coming up. Spoilers disarmed. Thrust levers are back. Nose down for acceleration. We're gonna fly the flight director here. .200, flaps up. You can see we're accelerating up to 250. There we go. I'm going to keep flying the needles. And autopilot is on. And we're beginning our climb. So she'll hold around 250 till 10,000 feet, and then she'll level out a bit more, accelerate to about 280, and then we'll climb up and continue on up to our cruise altitude of 30,000 feet. There's 4,000. 5,000 feet. So 10,000, we will turn off the landing lights, get everything squared away. Flaps are up. Ground spoilers are disarmed. And it's a very nice day out here, making our turn. So we were going to scroll out a bit, see some weather off to our left, but we're going to be going around it for the most part, up and around. Might catch the edge of it.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are now passing through 10,000 feet. You can now turn on your larger portable electronic devices. As a reminder, please keep your seatbelt fastened while you are seated and do not congregate in the galley or near the lavatory. This aircraft is equipped with onboard Wi-Fi. If you wish to connect to the Wi-Fi, you will be required to pay a small fee. We do offer complimentary in-flight TV thanks to our partners. Connect to the Wi-Fi to find out more information.
So you can see we've leveled off just over 10,000 feet. Now we're accelerating to 320, and then we're going to do a climb profile all the way up to cruise altitude from here. And I gotta say, I'm watching this stream on another computer, and it's looking all right. I got no notices of frame drops. Everything else is looking good. Again, if you're late joining, this is a streaming test. So I've made some adjustments to settings, trying to get my stream smoother so I don't get issues with chunks and stuff. This back and forth wiggle that you're seeing here is something that apparently is going to be addressed in the next update next week, which should be pretty interesting because they're also releasing the next world update, which is North America. So it's going to be interesting to see what they update there, if they add new airports again. I'm definitely going to be taking a look at that as that comes out, and we'll do some stuff there. Given how big America is, I'll probably end up doing little sightseeing flights around the areas where the new airports are and what they've updated. So now we're just monitoring as we climb out. Again, we're doing the live weather update. Here's that weather off to our left. So we're north of Paris now. We're heading up into the Normandy area. And we'll be crossing over the town of Outreau on the English Channel, leaving France, and we're going to come ashore just to the side of Hythe in England, which is just west of Folkestone. So those are our crossing points if anyone's interested. Alright, so we're through 18,000 feet. No standard. A little urge to cough today. So I hope everyone's doing well. We're entering another round of COVID lockdowns. Looks like they're announcing more information today. But I know a lot of places around the world are already in lockdowns again. Kind of frustrating, but not much you can do. So this will be a good test. The current weather at Manchester is a little bit of wind from the southwest, but it's got multiple cloud layers at low down, so it'll be interesting to see. We should do okay frame-wise. And this wiggle is very annoying. So I've done a couple flights in the 787, but I gotta tell you, the amount of time needed for those flights, the minimum flight I think is 6.5 hours. I think the longest is a 12-hour. And I've only done a couple short ones, but man, to put the time aside for those up till now has been kind of awkward. But if we go into lockdown and there's not much to do, maybe doing some longer flights. So we can take a look at the airplane as we fly over northern France. Again, this is out of the Mega Pack, livery Mega Pack, so good job to whoever did it. These really do look nice. Some better than others. But it is a nice paint scheme. There's a few nice ones. The Austrian one that I used a little while ago looked fantastic. Really like that paint scheme. So again, we're just climbing up to altitude, and then we're going to be, we're making a little bit of a left turn. And see if I can see it. Ah, there it is. That there is the town of Amiens. Very, very famous World War I town. And it is beautiful countryside out here. Been there a couple times. Which is looking good. 26,000 feet. See, we're still holding that 320 knots, but our ascent rate is down to 1,400 feet per minute. That's because with the thinner air, it's harder to keep that speed up. So she kind of flattens out the curve as we get up towards the top of the climb there. And once we're in cruise, they should be doing snack service. If we go and take a look at what they're doing in the back, you can see everybody. Let me just turn it on. There we go. So I don't know where you're headed. You're probably in the bathroom. Two attendants on the flight today. Looks like they're having a little chat. So there was 105 passengers on today's flight. Here we have Felix Garner. He's tired. He's doing all right. Here's Laurie Saunders is hungry and thirsty. That's our shifting into the cruise phase. And the attendants are walking back and forth, making sure everyone is good. What's your issue? You're very hungry, very thirsty. So once we're fully into the cruise mode, they should be doing a snack service. It's a short flight. There's no meal today. There we go. So we should be on the ground in 1 hour and 15 minutes. see what our ETA is. We're showing less than that. Although, that might be just straight through at our current airspeed. Alright. So, just going to leave you looking out the window for a few minutes, and I'll come back shortly.
Moments we'll be starting our in-flight service. We'll be serving complimentary drinks and snacks. Please look in your seat back for a list of complimentary and premium drinks. Premium drinks are available for a small charge. If you wish to make an additional purchase, we only accept credit cards.
So we're just coming up to London. It's kind of off to our left, forward. We'll be starting our descent shortly. This will be a good test. I just checked the weather at Manchester. Multi-levels of clouds and some light rain right now, so it'll be good. The stream is looking good so far. Looks like the setting changes I've made are paying off. See how it does when I get deeper into the clouds. I've got the clouds, the settings on high, not ultra, but high. So it'll be good to see what happens with that. Just coming up to the Thames. It's about 5 miles in front of us. So as you can see, we got an ETA of 1924. It just turned 1900 now, Zulu. So they're saying I'll be there. Although I think this is based on 5,000 feet out from the airport. So it's saying basically 25 minutes to go, and PAX, based on the time I got from SimBrief, is saying we got 58 minutes to go. So I think it could be split. Either way, it's looking good. Jump back in. Definitely got some weather ahead. Alright, so I'm going to leave the weather on that side. I'm going to turn it off on this side, put terrain on. So our first restriction on the descent well, we don't really have one. Although just after TNT at SLP, we've got to be well, it says if you're below 14,000 feet at 250 knots, which we'll be at. So that's fine. Our intercept on the ILS is 3,500. And Manchester does have hills to the east, so we're going to be overflying the hills. So basically this approach is we're going to overfly the airport, fly back along the track. We should be on, and then we're going to do a turn and then come back in. So I think we're going to do that at 4,500. So we're going to be want to be at MCT, which is here at 4,500. Or just want 2,000 feet. Yeah, we'll go 5,500. You can see there's some pretty heavy weather coming up. Big band of it right out through here. So we might as well plug in the weather now. I just got an update. So we'll come down here, we'll go to approach mode, So the QNH is 1025. Current temperature in Manchester is 11 degrees Celsius. Winds are 200 at 7. I think we're laying on runway 23. Transition to altitude, we'll make it 10,000 feet. And there's our approach speed. So our decision height for this runway will be 449 feet, which is 200 feet above . Yeah. All right. That's good. So that's all entered in. So we go back to our cruise mode. So our approach actually starts when we hit Lesta. Do we have a Lesta? Well, it'll be TNT actually. Alright. So I think we're going to get ready to start our descent. So we're going to go to 5,500. To set for 250 knots, and we are going into a controlled descent of about 1,500 feet per minute. All right. Let them know we're descending. So we are set in the back, or set with our approach. Everything is entered in. TNT will go into approach mode. So we've got the airport information, altimeters will set when we get down. It was 1025. So we'll set the standby. It's really hard to read. (1025). So we're going to want to cross TNT. It's what, 5 miles? That's going to be 17.1. 1120 something miles. So about 8,000 feet. 8 or 9,000 feet. And then we can adjust from there. It's just going to be a slow descent down into the rain. Given how bad it's looking, we'll probably turn the igniters back on. It's because we're going to want to keep the engines going with the amount of water that's probably going to be ingested. We'll just hold 250 knots all the way down. Just realized the cursor's not showing. Huh. Interesting. Okie dokie. It's showing it on other things when I go to it in other windows, but not on the main gaming screen. It's got some clouds coming up. Stream is still looking very good. So as I was saying, the museum I volunteer at is probably has suspended operations for the rest of the year, and looks like there's probably more restrictions coming in. So I may go to streaming a couple times a week. Something to occupy my time. So we'll see how this one goes. I've got another one scheduled for tomorrow on Saturday. A bit of a longer flight. We'll see how that one goes. And once those are all done, we will maybe I'll do a couple of week. Maybe some longer ones as well in the 787 as I get more comfortable with it. I'm just watching our descent now. So TNT is 9 minutes out. We're traveling 4 miles a minute. Yeah, 9 minutes. We're dropping at 1,500 feet per minute. So 10 would be 15,000. We're going to be under that about 11,000, which would bring us down to 9. So yeah, we're not bad. Just kind of roughly figuring it out. Once again, typical English weather in the fall. So let's make sure we got the radio tuned. Should be 109.5. So come down here, go radio navigation. It's not putting it in. Well, that's okay. We can do that. 109.5. Of course, well, actually it's 232, but that's fine. And it should be INN as the identifier when we get there. Go back to performance. Just 19,000 feet. Oh, there's my mouse. Oh, I know what it's doing. Okay. There's a little bit of a disconnect. It's only going into the portion of the window which is 1080p on my large monitor, so it's a little bit of a weird thing that's going on. I've got to look at the screen if I'm going to do it, because my mouse isn't where I've got it, is not where it's displaying. Like, I'm in the middle of the window over the clouds right now, but it's just showing it over the the speed selector for the FMC. So it's all good. We can work around it. Alright, we're through 18,000 feet, so we're going to go over to standard pressure, and it was 3025. Set and cross-checked. Still descending down towards those clouds. See the multi-layer effect? It's pretty cool. All right. It's through 14,000 feet. Everything is still looking smooth on the stream. So as I said, if we hit 8,000 here, we can be down to 5,500 by the time we overfly the airport, and then we'll go in on the approach, which again is basically fly straight out the way we're going to come back in, and we do a teardrop turn and pick up the ILS and come in and land, which it looks like we're going to be doing in the rain. Which again, I am fine with. That'll be a good test. Get the graphics going a little bit more intensive. And since we are processing the stream through the GPU, we'll see how that does. And if this works with no issues, I'm thinking of I might be able to put my cloud level up to ultra for the streams, since there is that little bit of leeway. But we'll see. It doesn't look too bad as it is. I know in 4K I can't run clouds and ultra. Just don't have the horsepower. Alright, 20 miles to go. Still descending down. Looking good. I think I'm hearing thunder out there too. I'm not sure. Might be a little bit distant. I think I'm going to leave the terrain radar on because we do have those hills we're going to be flying directly towards. And there is altitude warnings of about 3,000 feet. Have minimum altitude around them, so we're going to want to keep an eye on those. So TNT is...
On our final descent into Manchester, flight attendants will be passing through the cabin to collect any trash one final time. Please ensure tray tables are stowed and seats are in a full upright position. Please also store any carry-on items either in the seat back pocket or under the seat when it's used. Please complete all Wi-Fi related tasks and stow any larger electronics.
Alright, so speed check, 25 knots, we're under 10,000 feet, landing lights are on, landing systems are on, fuel quantities checked, and flaps and gear are confirmed in the up position. I'm going to decrease our descent rate slightly since we're still pretty far out. I'll drop it to 1,000 feet per minute. I think at this point I'm going to take over a little bit of manual. Because I'm not exactly sure what it's going to do when it hits here. Don't quite trust the system yet. All right. So when we get to TNT, I'll turn follow that curved route. And we're almost into the clouds. Again, this is the flight sim weather. See what we're facing here. There's the airports up here. See, we're getting bumped around a little bit in and out of cloud layers, which is really cool. Decrease a little bit more. Look at that. I mean, that is pretty awesome. Flying between cloud layers like this. Can't complain. Can't complain at all. Alright, 3 miles from TNT. into AJ1. I'm going to make a little bit of a turn. And I think we're good to activate approach mode. So everything is set. And there we go, INN. It's coming up, 26 miles out from the airport. So again, we're going to come up from the other side and overfly the airport, do a teardrop, intercept the ILS, and come back for landing. All through this wonderful weather, you can see that we're skimming through. And as I said in the MEDAR, you could see multiple cloud layers were listed and rain, so it could be rather wet when we get down on the ground. Alright, MTC, so we're going to turn to something like that. Let's go, oh no, come on. 290. So we're 20 miles out. I'm going to bring the speed back to 210. And landing lights are checked on. Taxi light is now on. Ground spoilers are armed. 5,500 feet. Speed's back to 210. And speed checked. Flaps 1. When we make the turn for the airport, we'll go back to 180 knots. Now, I was watching some other guy flying. When he did this, he landed in managed speed, and the aircraft used these. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to go into managed mode, and we're going to give that a try as well. We'll see what happens. Not sure. As I said, don't really trust the FMS in this aircraft, or in the sim itself, for that matter. But we'll see what happens. Oh, some turbulence there. So we're aiming for getting onto the reciprocal of that heading. It's probably about 2 miles out. We'll start the turn, and we'll see how we do. Again, train radar is on. You can see it just starting to pick up some of the hills that we're going to be flying towards. 7 miles. And again, 3,500 will be the intercept, which we will set when we get a little bit closer. Hey, to whoever's watching, thanks for joining us. This is kind of a test of OBS settings. Trying to get the streaming so it's not jittery and dropping frames and stuff. So made some adjustments from my last stream I did, and we are doing a test run now into live weather here in central England. So it's a good test of the system and how the stream is going. So we're almost there. We're just coming up and getting ready to make our approach into Manchester Airport. We're 3 miles out. I'll speed back to 180. Oh, breaking the clouds over there. See those brakes. And 2 miles. So let's start getting this thing around. Oop. So I don't want to go too far. Still 5 miles from the airport. However, speed is down to 180. Hey Ben, how are you doing today? So let's go to about 210. We'll hold 210 until, or 101 until we intercept, and then we'll go up the rest of the way. We're also going to start this descent down to 135, but we're going to keep it pretty slow. Not doing good. As I was mentioning a little earlier, this is a OBS test. Just I've been playing with settings. It seems I've been getting some pretty bad frame drops and stuff. So made some changes on bit rates and streaming and with my system. So doing a test, and it's a good test. We're in the weather, in the clouds here in central England. So it's a good chance to test the system and see how we do with frame drops and see if we get any stuttering and stuff. But it's looking good so far. Alright. Oop. Did not want to do that. 280. And we're going to go over. This will take us on the outbound run here. And there you can see the train starting to come in. So we're gonna watch, make sure we don't get too close. And you can see we're right in the middle of the storm here. Heavy, thick, dense cloud. I'm sure we're gonna get rain at some point, although I'm surprised we're not seeing it yet. I think what we're going to do is we're going to fly to this point, we'll turn up towards here, and then we'll make our turn outwards to come in and intercept back at this one. So we'll see how we do. INN at 109.5, that is the correct localizer. Yeah, there is a delay. I'm not quite sure how to adjust that. It's almost several seconds. Once I get the frame rate issue and the frame drops and stuff sorted, then I'll start looking into things like the chat delays. That's a minor thing to worry about at the moment compared to the other issues I've been having. But it's nice to know you're not the only one seeing that. I do have the stream up on another computer, so I can see that what you type in does pop up a little bit after. Alright, so we're almost there, so let's we'll make the turn here. Where do I want to go? Let's go that way. Again, just skimming the edge of the clouds here.
2,500.
And there's the warning starting. So we're not that far off the ground, so we're gonna have to watch that. Yeah, even with all the issues that it's having and all the problems that people are having with it, it is still a really good sim. And knowing how much we've got to go moving forward and how much development will kick in, it's going to be pretty incredible. All right. Oh yeah, forgot to turn on the seatbelt sign. Get everybody seated and happy and get ready for landing. All right, let's get turning around here. We're gonna go in at about a 200 degree or a 190. We could probably do a 180. Yeah, let's just go 180. By the time we get her looped around here. So we're deep into the clouds now. Once we get around and wings level, I'll throw on the approach mode. Head over to landing systems. So we should have a decent intercept of about 35-40 degrees. We're heading back towards the airport. See here where it's showing our distance. So there's the identifier, the frequency, and the distance. So we're just passing under 16 nautical miles out. Alright, so there we go. We're coming wings level. So as you can see, we have the localizer is being seen, and the glide slope is being seen.
2,500.
So we're going to be waiting for. We get a little bit closer to the path, and then we'll go into approach mode. Again, the stream's looking stable, so I'm happy with that. Especially in these clouds.
2,500.
Yeah, 2,500, I know. Alright, so everything's on, everything's good. We got bars moving. So in approach mode, we're making the turn for the capture, although we're going to overshoot because I was a little bit delayed. That's fine, we're still 14 miles out. So we'll just kind of S-turn it and come back in and pick up the path. We're slightly off to the right. We're at intercept altitude. Alright, we should be good with that on now. Well, we do get the weather back. Be nice if I could turn the weather off on this side, but can't do that yet. It's easier to see with the terrain. Right, you can see the localizer bar coming in. You can see the diamond coming in as well. Glide slope's coming down. Both are set to capture. That's what the dots mean over the screen there. So localizer is getting ready. Glide slope is in capture mode. Glide slope is captured. 10 miles out. Localizer will capture in a second. So speed is going to go into manage mode. Flaps 2. We're descending. Flaps 3. And dropping the gear. Ooh, come on. There you go. Gear is moving. And gears down, 3 green, and flaps go to full. Oh, now wants the cabin check. All right.
Camera crew, please take your seat behind.
All right. So we are on approach. So 145, which is what it says there, is what we're holding here in manage mode. It'll slow to 140 as we come in for touchdown. We see the terrain and we can see the weather. Weather is not going to change much. 700 feet, I think the MEDAR said was the lowest level. Yep, 700 feet. So we're in the clouds almost right to the bottom. So we're passing through 1,900 feet, 5.5 miles out. Stable on the approach. That's where the sun is. Kind of trying to get through the clouds. Alright. A little low on the glide slope. So our decision height is 449 feet, which is 200 feet above the ground. We should be out of the clouds by then. Thousand feet to go. Leaving the autopilot on. We're 600 feet above the ground. Start to see the ground movement. 780 feet altitude, start to see the runway. .400 feet, airport in sight, landing.
300. 200.
Autopilot off.
60, 50, 40, 30, 20, retard.
Oh, a little bit hard. Reversers are on. 80 knots. 70 knots. Reversers are off. All right, we're going to exit here. That wasn't too bad.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Manchester. The local time is 11:08 a.m. and it's currently about 11 degrees Celsius. You can now use your mobile devices. Please remain seated until the aircraft has come to a complete stop and the seatbelt sign is turned off. Remember to use caution when opening the overhead bins as items may have shifted during the flight. If this is your final destination, we thank you for flying with us. If you're making a connection, we encourage you to check your itinerary to ensure a smooth continuation of your journey.
All right, so once we get around the corner, we'll stop briefly and do a reset. Our post-landing checks. All right, so get the parking brake on. After landing checklist, spoilers, they're disarmed. Flaps going up. Engine mode selector is on normal. Landing lights come off. Taxi lights on. Strobe light is off. APU will start up. Anti-ice will come off. Brake temperatures there are good. Transponder back to standby. PWS will come off. Weather radar will come off. Wheels will come off. And APU will start. So, parking brake off. We're going to taxi to the gate. And thank you for flying on this Air France flight from Paris to Manchester. It is a horrendously foggy day here in central England. But it was a good flight and a good test, and everything is looking really, really good stream side. So I am very happy with how this has turned out. We've got another flight tomorrow, same time, 1 o'clock Eastern Standard, 1800 Zulu. We'll be flying from Warsaw back over to England. Hope you'll join us then. I'm just going to continue now onto the terminal that we use here, which is right here. Now I think I'm running the improved Manchester, so we'll see what it looks like. Can't remember exactly because I haven't been in here since I think I installed it with the Gatwick one. Park over there by that Topa Sky Caravan. Maybe I didn't install it. This is looking pretty much the same. Stupid little buildings all over the place. Yeah, thanks, David. Appreciate it. It was a pretty decent landing, considering when I got my Honeycomb Yoke, I had to give up my throttle and stuff, so that's all being done via the keyboard. But other than that, it wasn't bad, especially in this weather. I'm happy with it. So we're going to park her right here. We'll just pull forward. And then we'll go through our shutdown. Alright, so there we are. Parking brake is on. So thrust levers are at idle. Ground contact has been made. We have APU available. So are the ground power available? APU can go off. APU ground power is connected. Engine's off. I'll leave the nav lights on. Beacon taxi lights will come off. People can get up and walk around and do their thing. Fuel pumps will come off. Now, will you give me some type of ramp service? Ramp connection, yes, please. There we go. Bring her over, buddy. And everyone's starting to get off the aircraft. No issues with the flight. So there we go. Guys, if you like what you see, you know, consider subscribing. Doesn't cost anything. I try to get videos out 4 or 5 times a week. Various different things from GA aircraft to airliners. And with the COVID lockdowns increasing, probably going to be doing more streams. So hopefully we'll see you there. Thanks for flying with us today. It's been good to have you here. And we will catch up with you next time. Bye for now.